where that song came from. So, is it going to bother you guys if I'm sitting over here during your speech?
No, that's
Okay,
great.
good.
That's how it always is. Contest chair always sits to the side.
Well,
Even at the
good.
convention, they sit right behind
The podium.
the podium. Yeah, usually
Awesome.
exactly right there.
Well,
It's really
awesome.
convenient. You can just say, hey, contest chair.
Yes. Cool. Thank you. Test. It is 9:45. Guess what happens now? Woohoo! Let's hope so. Because it won't be from me. Anyway. All right. Welcome to the District 63 Humorous Speech Contest. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing some of the district's funniest speakers. Although I know quite a few who are not up here, who at least think they're funny. Yeah. No, your husband, actually. We are honored to recognize the dignitaries that are here with us today. If the dignitaries could please stand. Connie, you are one. Stand up, please. Jared. Sonia. Thank you. If I missed anybody, sorry. Now let us proceed again with those formalities that we're going to be hearing several times today. If you guys get sick of them, just tough. I have to say them. All right, as contest chair, I can confirm that the contestants have been briefed and all contestants have had the rule book made available to them. Will the timer please identify themselves and display the timing card so the contestants are aware of where you are at?
This is a timer. I'm the timer associate. I have cards here.
Okay, we have a backup timer too? Okay. The timing for the humorous speech contest is as follows. It is a 5 to 7 minute speech. The timer will show the green card at 5 minutes and will keep the green card up until 6 minutes when the yellow card will be shown. I know, it's early, I'm not awake. At that time, the yellow card will remain up until 7 minutes when the timer will raise the red card. The timer will keep the red card up until the contestant finishes speaking, and the timing begins the moment a contestant makes a movement or utters their first sound, and that's even hiccups. Any speech with a time less than 4 minutes and 30 seconds or greater than 7 minutes and 31 seconds or 30 seconds will be disqualified for timing. I can't talk this morning. Chief Judge, have all the contest officials been briefed, and are we ready to proceed after I get done with more? Awesome. Okay. All judges are to remain anonymous. In order to allow the judges time to mark their judging forms, we will have 1 minute of silence after each contestant's speech. And we will have an indefinite length of silence after the last contestant's speech until all the ballots have been collected and tabulated. Timers will please signal a red card when we have had the 1 minute, when the 1 minute is up in between the contestants. Please refrain from distracting others during the contest, which means all cell phones to please be turned off. I don't even want to hear a vibration. There is no taking of photographs or videos, although I do have to let our humorous speakers know your speeches are being recorded, because Louisa really wanted to be in here, but she also has her presentation going, so we are recording them for her so she can see you guys. Probably shouldn't have told you because now you're nervous. That's okay. You guys are great. You made it to district. While the ballot counters are tabulating the votes, we will take time to interview each contestant. Once the contest has ended, the winners have been announced, and there will be a brief break while they do whatever they're doing. I have no idea. Each contestant selects their own speech topic. Some of the content may be personal in nature and contain language, ideas, or beliefs that some audience members may consider sensitive. If this happens, you are asked to refrain from disrupting or taking any action not in accordance with Toastmasters protocols exceptions. Judges, you are asked to keep in mind that you are to judge each speech separately using the judge's form. Be honest, show no favoritism, and do not be conservative in the beginning. Don't be conservative at all. Vote with your heart and how great they are. The speaking order for the contest was determined earlier by a roll of the dice. We have had one person drop out, and that was Spencer Harrison. So if you have him on your form, please remove him. And the order for the humorous speech contest is as follows. Speaker number 1, Heidi White. Speaker number 2, Christina Slade. Speaker number 3, Robert, how do you say your last name? McClellan. Robert McClellan. And our final speaker will be Jason Simon. The first place winner will be the district champion. They're funny people. Contestants will come to the stage area where there will be a brief mic check. They will say their names in the center of the stage. So timers don't get carried away and start the time at that point. See, the official introduction of the contestants is as follows. It will be their names, their speech title, their name. Now, are we ready to begin? Contestant number 1, please come to the center of the stage. If you can do a mic check, please say your name.
Heidi White.
Remember, wave that bottle so I can see it. Your orange bottle. You're good.
Heidi White.
I'll see, it's good we're doing this. You can? Okay, all right. Heidi White, bring your inner child. Bring your inner child, Heidi White. Thank you, timer. Second contestant, if you can please come to the center of the stage. You can say your name for a mic check.
Christina Slade.
Christina Slade, to pee or not to pee? To pee or not to pee, Christina Slade.
To pee or not to pee apparently is a question I'm supposed to ask you. But I didn't know that. And if I did know that, I would not have the story that I'm about to tell you. Once upon a time, I was realtor. I was a younger realtor, and I got my license so I could pee in pretty places. And that all backfired on me, not in that way. But I got a phone call from someone. He wanted to see a house, and when you're brand new in real estate, you're very hungry, and you will take any phone call and any deal. And this gentleman wanted to see a place that was about 2.5 hours from me, in a place that I call a hairy biscuit. A place you can live in, but you're not gonna like it. Just like you can eat a hairy biscuit, but you're not really gonna like it. It's not very good. So I wake up the next morning and I drink about 48 ounces of Christian Speed, coffee. So it's really going through my system, and I drive to a place where they put 2 cars together and call it home sweet home. And I arrive, and nature called and said, yeah, old lady, you need to find a restroom. So I open up this place because it's the one time in my life, because I was younger, that I showed up on time. So I unlocked this house and I ran all the way to the very back of the house because there was only one bathroom to this house. And I get there, and to my demise, but for your laughter, I realized that they had taken the toilet away. See, I come from California. We don't do winterizing of our bathrooms. We just don't need to, but apparently you guys do. I'm a resourceful woman, so I look at the sink, but it was like origami down, couldn't do anything there. I look at the shower, and it was one of those ones where grandma can't fall, but she can drown, if you know what I mean. So I look outside the window, and there's a bush, and it was telepathic. It was telling me, come here, come here. And I do what any country woman does because I am transitioning to Tennessean. I go, and I find that bush, and I squat down, and I tell you, it was the best. And I'm down there, and right from behind me, I hear, hello? Oh, folks, not only was I moons over my hammy, but I had just blinded my poor client by the light. And if there was one moment in my whole life that I wish that God would strike me down, it was that moment. Because I forgot to tell you that he was deaf. So he had to read lips. So I had to look at him in the face the whole time, going through the house. Now, he was a good Christian man. He was married. He was somewhat offended that he saw his realtor moons over my hammy, like anybody else would be. But he showed me grace because when we got to the very end of the house and he looked at that bathroom, he realized that I was probably the age of his mother, and that his mother, she probably went to the bathroom every stop on the gas station, and he probably gave more grace than my husband does on road trips, if I'm just going to throw that out there. And so when we were going through the property, he showed me some grace, and he told me that since I marked my territory, that we should put an offer on the house. So I sold it. But I was really, really mad because I did not know, like I told you, I became a realtor so I could pee in pretty places. I didn't know that this was a rule. I had never encountered that, so I called my broker. And I was very upset. I was like, how could you do this to me? I mean, when you see a middle-aged woman, you should sit down and let her know right then and there that there is going to be a potty problem. So, when you are out there and you see a young professional sit down with you, she has to ask you to pee or not to pee. And I urge you, when she is asking you that question, think about your mother. Think about your grandmother, because I'm her age. And think this, do not make us go out there and be moons over my hammy in your Ring camera. Just let us go. Just let us go. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys enjoyed my speech.
Timer, if we can have a minute of silence, please. Thank you, Timer. Speaker, if you could go to the center of the stage and do a mic check for us, please.
Robert McClelland.
Robert McClelland, my dead ear. My dead ear, Robert McClelland.
I've been deaf my entire life, partially deaf my entire life, because I can hear nothing out of this right ear. Absolutely nothing. Not a zip, zero. This ear is dead to me. Fortunately, I found a club where I really belong. It's called Say What, Toastmasters. And it's a club for anyone who has a hearing impairment. Our club motto is, my hearing loss is my superpower. What message is louder than that? This is our word of the day every single meeting. Every. The grammarian reports on that word as well as all the variations on the theme, such as, huh? Repeat that? Say what? Whatever. The members of our club really like to tell stories about their hearing loss, their superpower. Here's my story. And if you can't hear me, stand up and shout, say what? Don't bother. That won't help me at all, because I can't hear you either. During my childhood years, my hearing loss did not affect me very much because I used it to my advantage. For example, whenever Mrs. Campbell, my third grade teacher, caught me gazing absent-mindedly out the window, she would call me out. I'd reply, say what? And point to my right ear. Then I would explain that I was just contemplating the principles of the sounds of silence. Whenever she caught me teasing Sally Wilson, the red-headed girl right in front of me, I just point to my right ear and say that I was just telling her about my plans to get a master's degree in gender studies. These explanations worked every time. In my teen years, I discovered that romance was my kryptonite. The first time that it hit me was at my high school prom. Kay Flummerfelt was my date that night. She was on the girls' gymnastics team, and I thought of her then as a Simone Biles of her time. Everything that she did was a perfect 10. We were slow dancing to a Carole King song, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? That night, with words unspoken, she said that I was the only one. At least that's what I heard. My heart was going 99 miles an hour. We glided around the dance floor in a close embrace. Her head was resting right here. Occasionally, she would lift it and her lips would touch my neck and my ear. The dead one. I could feel the caress of her warm breath crossing my face. It tickled. And I thought, oh, what a night this is going to be. Near the end of the song, she was whispering to me, but all I could hear was a kind of buzz, 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 buzz. I could not catch a single word. Then the music stopped. And I thought, I just missed the most magical moment that a boy could have. When a beautiful girl whispers her sweetest endearments, shares her deepest vulnerabilities, and proclaims her undying love and affection. I missed it. So I stepped back and said, say what? Can you repeat that? And Carol Kay said, yes, let's stop dancing. My feet are killing me. I got blisters on both of them, and I really, really need to go to the bathroom. She took off. Suffice it to say, there was no kiss at the end of the night, no second date, no second chance with Kay Flummerfelt. She won't love me tomorrow. The next time that my kryptonite hit me was at my wedding with my first wife, Alicia Guajardo, the Mexican-American temptress from El Paso. We were married outside in an English garden. It was so beautiful. We said our vows in a gazebo as a small stream murmured nearby. I didn't hear it. At the end of the ceremony, the officiant said, you may now kiss the bride. But I was distracted, thinking about all that German chocolate cake that was waiting for me so patiently at the reception. And I thought he said, kick the bride. Kick the bride. Kick the bride. That must be some kind of ritual in her church. So I did. Alicia, wanting to make an in-kind contribution to the gathering, stomped on my foot. Both of us limped to the reception. And if either one of us said anything warm and loving and kind along the way, well, guess what? I didn't hear it. Now I'm in the twilight years of my life, and I learned something from my hearing loss journey. It's simply this. As every rose has its thorn, every superpower has its kryptonite. Embrace it. Next week, at my Say What Toastmasters meeting, I'm going to give them that message. Maybe they'll hear me. Maybe they won't. Contest chair.
Timer, a minute on the clock, please. Thank you, timer. Contestant, please come to the center of the stage and give us a mic check.
Jason Simon.
Jason Simon, creatures big and small. Creatures big and small, Jason Simon.
Oftentimes, chaos creates the most memorable moments. How many of you here today have ever had to move from one house to another or move apartments from one apartment to another? By a show of hands. Most of us have experienced this type of chaos. Boxes randomly everywhere, furniture in almost the right spot, the smell of marijuana in your son's new room because that's where the movers decided to take their break. In January of 2023, my family and I moved to our new to us forever home in Knoxville, Tennessee. The evening of the move, my wife escorted my children upstairs to go to sleep, and I backed away into the kitchen to observe the living room and what we had accomplished that day. And now I will set the stage. See, you are seated exactly where I was standing. To your right is the gas fireplace I had just shut off, and my dog staring intently into that gas fireplace. And I wondered, what is my dog looking at like that? I soon saw a brown spot move between the screen and the glass, thinking this is not right. And I was correct. Because the next thing, bam, out of the fireplace leapt this thing. And I want to push pause for a moment so that you too can see the picture that is etched in my brain like a movie on pause. In the air hung this brown creature, my dog, arching its headed back, tongue hanging out, drooling, eyes fixated on this target. And the only thing I could think to say in that moment was, sweetheart, there is a small creature in this house. And now we resume, because off goes the creature. It goes around the chair, over the box, and under the bench. My dog goes through the chair, through the box, through the bench. As it's rounding the corner, my wife from upstairs says, whatever you do, do not let that thing upstairs. And you know, sir, you know, when your wife says, do not let something happen, it will happen. It will be your fault. Instinctively, I ran to the stairs, but they beat me. Up go the stairs, the creature, the dog, myself, and then shoom, 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 all three of us into the laundry room. I slammed the laundry door shut. There are three too many animals in this small space. I pick up the dog, open the door, throw the dog out, slam the door shut. Gently. It's a new to me forever home, okay? Don't want to break anything. And now, for the next 5 minutes, I'm locked in battle with something that I don't know. When all of a sudden, this creature leaps off the floor, pushes off the wall, and boom! I do my best Keanu Reeves moving backwards, and that is when I recognize what it is. Beady brown eyes, 3-centimeter long fangs, and claws that you know make that awful sound on the chalkboard. The vicious flying squirrel. At that moment, my wife busts in, thrusts a dustpan in my face. I turn to her and I say, sweetheart, this is no time to clean. She has a broom. She says, no, get the thing. What is it? And I thought, oh, I love you. We're fighting a flying squirrel. For 35 minutes, we do battle. I almost lose both of my eyes because of the broom, and I realize that this squirrel is making the same pattern over and over. My children at this point are our largest cheering section. Outside, I hear, get it, Dad, and please don't kill it, Dad. The squirrel had been leaping itself over an open box marked laundry, filled with canned goods from the pantry. I moved the box marked laundry, filled with the canned goods from the pantry, 1 foot away. And on the next lap, that squirrel leapt off the wall, looked down at where it was going to land, and I swear, looked at me, nodded his head, as if to say, good game, old chap. In goes the squirrel, close the box, pick up the box. My wife opens the door. I step outside, and I look at my children, and I said, your father has caught the flying squirrel like a professional. And my son looks at me and says, oh yeah? What I heard was, ah! Shut up. My daughter said, we should release the squirrel outside. It deserves to live. I said, okay. That evening, the four of us walked downstairs. We opened the front door to the porch. 15-degree air snaps us in the face. We step outside. The silence only broken by the night stalker. Hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo. And I knew there was not a chance that squirrel was going to live. Fine by me. Didn't need to tell my daughter that. Set the box down. She lets the squirrel go. It runs off to what I only can understand was its own demise. But in that moment, standing on the front porch with my family, shivering on our first night in our new to us forever home, I realized that we had made a memory that would not just last in our minds, but will be passed on to our children's children as a story of their final move to Knoxville, Tennessee. So indelible is that moment etched in my brain that 10 months later, as I was nodding off to sleep, I could hear the pitter-patter of little feet on the floor. And I was reminded of that moment standing on the front porch with my family. And as a smile crept across my face, slowly easing off to sleep, my wife shakes me awake and says, "Do you hear that? I think there's a small creature in the attic." And the only thing I couldn't think was, please no more memorable moments with creatures big or small. Madam Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters. Thank you very much.
A moment of silence, please. Judges, please submit your humorous speech contest ballots to the ballot counters in time by raising your envelopes when you are done. Timers, please communicate to the chief judge if there are any timing disqualifications. And Chief Judge, please let me know when all the ballots have been counted. Thank you, timer. Okay, the chief judge and the ballot counters, I told you I can't talk this morning, have all left the room. During this moment of silence, do you all ever hear the beat the clock theme? Do, do, do. Yeah, that's what I always hear. Okay, I would like to bring the contestants back up to the stage. Heidi, Christina, Robert, and Jason. There we go. I am going to hand you guys this and give you participation certificates. Ask you questions. Heidi White.
Yay!
Christina Slade. Robert. Now some more fun stuff begins. All right, Heidi, what club are you with?
I am part of Rivergate Toastmasters.
Awesome.
It's in Gallatin. And if you're here, you'll understand why that makes no sense.
Okay. All right, Heidi. So, tell us about your daughter and how she perseveres despite adversity and obstacles, and why that's inspiring.
I love talking about this, besides food. My daughter, Karina, is 19 years old and has been diagnosed with ADHD and other issues since she was 6 years old. She's been bullied for most of those 19 years, not just by kids at school, but teachers, extracurriculars, and sadly her family, her father's family. And so when I watch her not give up on things, it is so inspiring. She will still go to the school dances when she was in high school. She's a musical theater kid, so we go to New York a couple times a year for her to do intensives, and she gives it her all, and that is her dream. And so to watch her follow those dreams is very inspirational.
Awesome. Thank you, Heidi. Christina, what club are you representing today?
I'm with Harpeth View.
Yay.
Yay! Yay!
All right. Okay, what inspires you most is Bridget Everett.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Bridget Everett is a comedian. She is known as the comedian of comedians. She did a show that a lot of people like, Somebody Somewhere, but she's been around for a lot longer, and she just reminds a lot of us that dreams don't have expiration dates. And in fact, she tattooed it on herself so much that she believes it, and they really don't. None of our dreams in this room have expiration dates.
I know, I'm finding that out. Thank you, Christina. Robert, what club are you representing today?
I belong to Morning Cup Toastmasters in Maryville, and it's my cup of tea.
What? What? No. Okay, let's see here. Oh, accomplishments. Making it to adulthood.
You picked the one that I hoped you didn't. Actually, I had a very blessed growing up as a youth, and didn't have any real problems except for this ear right here that keeps flapping noiselessly. I think that for me, coming into adulthood, based upon how my father and my mother and my grandparents all took care of me in my lifetime, that set a wonderful path for me that I didn't have. I had support for my whole life from all 6 of them, so I really felt a lot of gratitude for my family.
Cool, great, thank you. Jason, what club are you representing this morning?
Yes, representing West Knox Toastmasters.
Awesome. All right, so your interest and hobbies, flying, motorcycles. You've got flying motorcycles? When did they make those?
I wish flying motorcycles someday, flying motorcycles, not quite yet.
Reading, cooking, spending time with family. What do you like to cook? And are you the chef?
I am the chef. And I stopped being the chef because I make too much of a mess. In fact, when I met my wife, I invited her over, sort of before she was my wife, to make her an extravagant meal. I used, I believe, every pot and pan in the kitchen. The meal was extravagant, exquisite, tasted delightful, impressed my now wife, until she got to the kitchen. And she said, "What in the world happened here?" I said, I made a meal. She looked at me and said, "Who's going to clean the kitchen?" And I just stared at her. That was wrong. So I have stopped cooking as much, but my go-to would be lasagna. Love making lasagna. It's my favorite.
Awesome. All right, keep it. We're going to go one more question up. I have to understand, it was a very hard decision, so they're going to be out there for a minute or two. All right, your favorite quote is, "Most see the world the way it is and ask why. I dream things that never were and ask why not." Why?
That was a quote. My father had it up on the refrigerator. Growing up, saw it every day. And for whatever reason, as a kid, did not resonate with me. Until I got older and I realized what my dad was trying to teach us. Most people walk through life not understanding the way things are. And they see the way the world is, and they see it as a limitation. And what my dad was trying to teach was, you can dream things. There is no limitation on the dream. And if you can think about it, and you can work through the adversity, you can achieve anything. There's no reason to limit yourself to what you see. Think about what you want to be, what you want the world to be, and then just try and achieve that.
Great, thank you. Your favorite quote is, "Figure out who you are, then do it on purpose." Explain that one.
I think that's a Dolly quote, and I love it because it tells us that actually we are on the right path almost all the time, whether we realize it or not. For me, every time I went to a new country, a new city, looking for work, it always opened up for me. I always found a door to a wonderful job, met wonderful people, had wonderful life in all of those places. So again, going back to what I said before, the blessings of my life, the world was for me rather than against me in some ways. For that, go back to that idea of gratitude and thankfulness.
Thank you, Robert. You guys can see the trend here I'm doing with the quotes, right? Okay, all right. So Christina, be who you truly are, not who you are with. Explain that one.
So I was a lot like your daughter, and I was bullied, and I always wanted to be what everybody else was. And I realized that my superpower was actually that I thought differently. And needless to say that all those laughters at me, I turned them as laughing with me. And we do get our turn, just to let you know.
Awesome, thank you. And Heidi, your quote was, "One day can make your life, one day can ruin your life. All life is 4 or 5 days, big days that change everything. Beverly, and it got cut off.
That is a quote from Beverly D'Angelo. It's a book called Riding Cars with Boys, but I know it because it's the movie, because I don't read. And so Drew Barrymore is in that movie. I absolutely love it. I have watched it dozens of times at different stages in my life, and the connection is always there. It's great. And her story, she's a writer in this movie, and talking about her life and focusing on those big major moments, whether they're good or bad, that really define our journey. And I just love that quote, so that when I do have a bad day, I know it's just a moment, and when I have a great day, it's an even better moment.
Thank you. You guys can head back that way, but don't get too far. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we have our contest winners for the Humorous Speech Contest. Third place winner is Christina Slade. Christina. Our second place winner, and as I said last night, whether you win and receive a trophy or whether you don't place, you all are winners because you made it into the district. You took that step to get into a contest. You stepped out of your comfort zone. And that is an accomplishment and a half right there. So congratulations to all of you for taking that step. Our second place winner, Heidi White. Our district humorous speech contest champion, and I hope the squirrel lived, Jason Simon. Thank you, everyone, for being in the audience. I know that was a decision you had to make, and I greatly appreciate you for supporting the contestants. Supporting the contestants to me is number one in the book. And so thank you, guys. And that concludes the Humorous Speech Contest. Be back for table topics. I've got a good question.
I mean, it's been